Greetings, everyone. Greetings, everyone. Welcome to another episode of F Your Feelings Friday. I am your melanated queen, okay, Lil Foxy, aka Seven Wonder, CEO and founder of Brown Girls Are Beautiful, you all. I hope everyone is having a wonderful week and has had a wonderful day. So, thank you for joining me here tonight. Oh boy, we got to get into today's topic, y'all. We have to get into today's topic. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to play a little music and I'm going to let people know that I'm live right now. In case they don't know, we're going to go ahead and get the banner started. All right, we got that going. You know how I like to do join hands, bow heads, and do all of that great stuff. But before I do that, let me go on my Instagram to let people know that we are currently live. And while I do that, I'm going to play a little bit of music, y'all. Let's see if I can find something to listen to. Let's see. Oh, it's been a while since I've played any music on here. Let's see if I can find something. Okay, I think it's right in here. Just a moment, y'all. Let's see. Keep going. Okay, here we go. All right, just a second, everybody. Thank you for bearing with me. Turn it up a little bit. Greetings, everyone. We are live for F Your Feelings Friday. Join us. All right. Welcome, everybody in the building. Oh, it said I can't post my video? Well, that's okay. We'll do it another way. We'll just put a post up here and let them know we're live. It's all good. Now, just like that. Just like that. Okay? All right. Enough of that. All right, y'all. Let's get into it. Let's go ahead and join hands and bow heads today. And y'all, I have to give a special thanks to my mother. And I'm going to tell you why in a minute. We want to go ahead and give thanks to the ancestor spirits, angelic warriors, ancestors, angels, all those good spirits that are watching over us, our divine creators, the universe, all the good people that surround us that look out for us on a daily basis. We want to give thanks because sometimes strangers can be your biggest blessing over the people that you know. And I think the church should give us an amen on that one, okay? Without any further ado, I want to get into it. Let me go ahead and turn my camera on so you all can see me. And I'm going to do a little test in my ear to make sure I can be heard. Okay. Sounds like y'all can hear me. So here I am, everyone, saying hey. All right. Forgive the hair. I washed it, blow dried it. Same story. Twisted it. Okay. Didn't feel like flat ironing my hair because that is an hour and a half job, everyone. And just didn't feel like doing it. So, anyway, this is what you see. This is what you get. Okay. And this is what's going on. But without any further ado, the real thing that I want to talk about, y'all, and this needs to be discussed. And it's going to be the truth that a lot of people don't want to hear, but I'm going to talk about it because it's something that I experienced today. And the experience is the fact that people are, how can I say this? Just because you procreate does not make you a parent. Okay, there's a difference between parenting and having a child. If you are lucky enough and healthy enough, anybody can have a child, but it takes a village sometimes, and it takes a special trait in people to raise that child properly. Okay, and this is the truth. This is the scary truth that people don't want to talk about, people don't want to hear, and people don't want to address it. But I'm going to address it, and the reason I think this is very prevalent is because they say the children are our future. And if the children are our future, then there should be more emphasis put into what the children are exposed to and how these children are being brought up in the household. It is a bad reflection, you all, when your child is in second grade and does not know what 2 plus 2 is, what 0 plus 2 is, what 1 plus 0 is, or what 0 plus 0 is. That is a real problem. And this is something that I have witnessed and experienced this week doing observation, working with children. Shout out to Brown Girls Are Beautiful all day, every day, hashtag no days off. Okay. Um, Here's the thing, we already know that certain children get a bad rep because they are given these categories of being problematic. The reason that sometimes they're problematic is because they don't get proper treatment, and sometimes they're not getting the proper attention at home. Just a second, you all. I'm going to do something real quick. So just bear with me for just a second, okay? Because I really want to delve into this conversation. So just a moment. Is it not show? Oh, it's not showing. Okay, let me go. Let's go here. Just a second, y'all. I'm about to do something. All right, and she's back. All right, I wasn't gone long, now was I? All right, so yeah, let's get into the topic. I'm a big advocate of homeschooling children. And the reason for that is because I don't believe, and I've said this before in the channel, it does not take 8 hours to teach these children the stuff that we're learning, that they're learning in school, if they're learning at all. Because I don't even know if parents even come to their child's classroom to observe them. I don't even know if the parents are really that involved. Parents at this juncture, certain parents, not all, think that school, public school, is a free daycare for their children. And it is very sad. There is no reason that your child should be going to school not knowing how to spell their name. That is very dangerous, because if something were to happen to them, God forbid, for some reason they were to get on the wrong bus or go somewhere that they're not supposed to be, anything can happen, because this has happened to someone that I kind of know, where the young girl got on the wrong bus. That's another story though. But what I'm saying is, if your child is of school age and they're riding the bus back and forth to school, they're in a public platform, meaning public school, and they don't even know how to spell their first name, that is a problem. Let alone they probably don't know how to spell their last name. That's another problem. You have children being sent to kindergarten, first grade, can't read, can't write, can't spell. And it's okay if they can't read full sentences because they're just beginning, but at least have the bare minimum and the basics. Because if your child has an iPad, a laptop, a cell phone, an electronic device, and they know how to play video games, but they can't spell their first name, that is a problem, you all. Okay. And it goes back to the parenting. I'm not even going to blame the teacher at this point. It is the parents. And it is very, very sad that people don't even want to take time with their own child. There is no reason why a second grader does not know 2 plus 2, does not know what 0 plus 2 equals to. And luckily, I was there because another thing that's going on, you want to watch how these schools are teaching your children. This Common Core math confuses them, and they are trying to dumb the children down deliberately. They don't want your children to learn, they don't want your children to understand mathematics. And the reason why I say that is because they're overcomplicating addition. There is no reason why you should be circling numbers to add. And when I say circling numbers, I mean they have a whole systematic practice that has nothing to do with addition. And how do I know this? I was in the classroom this week observing this stuff and watching it at firsthand. It is it is very surprising what goes on in the classroom. Then there is an overcomplicated way of them explaining the tens, the ones, and the hundreds. How many tens does it take to make 40? And then the teacher is asking, show me 3 different ways that you can make 42. This is a stupid question to ask a set of second graders. Simplify it. All right, so let me give you an example of what I did. So this particular second grader, little melanated boy, had to be about 7 years old, right? So I asked him, I said, what's 2 plus 2? I don't know. Now, anybody should know by first grade what 2 plus 2 is, right? Because you do addition in first grade. You're introduced to your numbers in kindergarten, and hopefully, your parents have taught you how to count before you have gone to kindergarten. You should be knowing your date of birth, but some of them don't even know the very basics. Some of them, like I said, can't recognize letters, and that is a problem. The teachers are not parents. The teachers are not School is not a daycare center. There is no reason that your children should be going to the bathroom and not washing their hands. Hygiene is one of the most simplest forms that's supposed to be taught at home. And yet, and still, you have to tell these children to wash their hands after they use the bathroom. That is disgusting. That is nasty. I witnessed, we went on a venture to the Science Museum today. We also took the children to the bathroom, okay? I'm going to tell you another thing that's going on with the public school system. They are putting children in classes that need to be separated from the rest of the group. It is a distraction. When you know that a child has uh, a challenge learning and they learn differently and they are a distraction to the class, why are the teachers forced to keep them in the classroom and try to teach 20 kindergartners, 20 first graders, or 20 second graders when they have to stop class every 5 minutes to try to get a hold of these children, to try to discipline children because lack of parenting? Lack of proper etiquette is being taught in the homes. But yet and still, parents go out here and buy all these fancy gadgets. You have Jordans, you have iPads, you have games, PlayStations. I bet you this Christmas, it's already October. Parents are out here breaking their necks trying to get whatever their child wants for Christmas. But you can't even have a simple conversation to teach them how to spell their name, to teach them how to do legible writing in school, to teach them how to do mathematics for school. But you will go out and buy them thousands of dollars worth of games and toys and gadgets. It is sickening and it is ridiculous. If the children are the future, I feel very, very sad for the rest of us that have to come up in this world when we might need future doctors, future attorneys, future teachers and professors, future scientists. And this is what we have to rely upon. It is degrading. And Americans as a whole, education system sucks. I just have to say that. And it is no excuse for it. So the young boy that did not know how to do 2 plus 2, I was observing him do his mathematical whatever you have. I guess it was supposed to be addition, but the way they were teaching it was overcomplicated. Didn't make sense to me, confused me. So I can only imagine how the children felt. So I asked him, I said, does this make sense to you? It didn't make sense to him, but he was going to just agree with it anyway. So I said, no. I said, this makes no sense. I'm going to teach you an easier way. I went and got the little, I guess they're like Lego block things or whatever. I can't think of the name of them, the proper name. I said, count these. If you have two of them and you add two more, how many do you have? So he counts them out, then he gets the answer, right? So we kept doing that and we kept doing it. Then I told him, I said, you don't even need these blocks. Count on your fingers. If I have two fingers and I add two more, how many do we have? Count on your fingers. He counted on his fingers. He started understanding the concept because I simplified it. I did not overcomplicate a simple mathematical equation called addition, right? So we're doing double digit addition. Now, let me tell you something. I did the homeschooling for COVID for a very short period of time for my nephews. Um, one of my nephews had just started kindergarten and had to stop kindergarten in the middle of COVID. But guess what he did do? He was at the age of kindergarten, age of 5 or 6, he was able to add double digits. And we did that in less than 8 hours. We went over all the subjects. And at the end of the whole entire thing, we took the whiteboard to the living room to show the grandparents. And guess what they did? He did his mathematical equation, the adding of the double digits, and he got the answers right. Same thing with this little boy. So by the time I finished explaining to him how to add properly, first we start on the right side, then we add the left side, right? He started wanting more and more of these mathematical problems. The addition came easier and easier to him as time went on. I spent about 30 minutes to at the most 45 to an hour with him, right? So we did about 3 pages of addition, and he kept saying he wanted to do more. He was more interested. He said he liked math, is what he told me. And then he also said he wanted something harder, and he wanted to take the papers home to go show his mother. So this let me know that the children can learn. It is the way they're being taught. And on top of it, they're not being taught at home. School is not meant to teach your children everything. It is to assist you in teaching your children. And that's why I'm a big major advocate of homeschooling your children, because what we got accomplished one-on-one in that 30 to 1 hour window is more than he probably ever had since he started the school year, which started in August. This is now October, you all. It is very sad. Second graders should automatically know what 2 plus 2 is. They should know what 0 plus 2 is, 0 plus 0, 0 plus 1. This should come easy for them. My nephew was younger than him. We did flashcards, and he knew what these numbers meant when we put them in front of him. So there's no reason for this nonsense, you all. Children are smarter than people give them credit for. Like I said, all the things that they learn, all these rap lyrics that they probably know by heart, they can know how to add, they can know how to subtract, write their name, recognize letters, and write the alphabet, and know the proper enunciation of the vowel sounds. There's no reason why the parents can't teach their own children this before they get to kindergarten or first grade. Y'all, it is ridiculous. And I just got to say it. The people that are allowed to have children don't deserve to have them. They don't. They keep procreating, and that's all they're doing is reproducing. Because if you have a replica of your DNA and your genetic material going into this world, wouldn't you want the best representation of yourself in this universe? Not somebody that's sitting there struggling in math, struggling in reading, struggling in writing, can't understand when the teacher is teaching, lost and confused, don't know what to do. And then you expect a teacher to sit there and babysit, be a parent, be a teacher, be a counselor, be a doctor, be a nurse, and everything else in between, a psychologist, a psychiatrist, a therapist to these children, because you have some of them that are challenged mixed in with the rest of them. And instead of them taking these challenged children and putting them somewhere else, they're being forced to keep these children in the classroom setting where they're distracting everyone else. It is ridiculous, y'all. And people need to get better support for their children. If you know your children has a learning problem, then you need to be more invested into their learning, because you are the parent. The teacher is not the parent. It's not their responsibility to fully develop your child. They're there to assist in the development of their teaching. But it starts at home. Simple hygiene starts at home. I'm going to tell you another thing. There is no reason why children are coming to school, melanated boys and anybody else, looking like their hair has not been combed nor brushed, look like they just woke up out of the bed and nobody even tried to put any oil on their hair, to brush their hair, to comb their hair. Just sent them to school when that's a part of hygiene, you all. I'm going to tell you another thing that's a very important part of hygiene. There's no reason why females should come to school smelling like they haven't properly wiped themselves, smelling like pee. That is nasty. Nobody wants to smell that fanning around in the classroom setting. Nobody should have to be exposed to that. Women, females, and ladies that have children, and even fathers, if you're a single parent, you need to properly teach your children hygiene. This should not have to go on in the school system. Your child should not be running around smelling like pee in a school setting. That is inappropriate, it's inexcusable, and it's unacceptable, and there is no reason for it. Y'all, I just can't believe that people are sending their children to school like this, but they are. They're dropping them off because they feel like the public school is a free daycare for them. They don't have responsibility as a parent. They're sending them out and they wash their hands of it, and then they do whatever they want to do for the rest of the day. Some of them are not even working, so they could homeschool their children. But then you have some parents that don't even have much understanding of their own self, but they know how to have sex to have children, and that's pretty much all they do is just keep procreating. And then you get people that come into society with lack of education and formal training, and you want to know why America is not great. Let me stop, y'all. But seriously, there's no excuse for this. One thing, that's why I said I wanted to give a shout out to my mother, because I realized when I saw that, I realized, thank God she took the time to teach us before we started school how to write our name, first, middle, last name, and just the things that most people should know before they start kindergarten. That goes a long way, y'all. I remember back in the day when these children couldn't read, and I was reading through the paragraph, and you know how the teacher asks you to read aloud? There's no way I could understand anything if we are reading sentences like this. My brain can't put that together. I'm a fast avid reader, and I've always excelled in language arts and writing and English. Some of that is just a natural gift, a natural ability, but some of that is attributed to being prepared in your early years of life. And if you are basically almost on the verge of being illiterate. That carries on throughout adulthood if nobody starts to correct that. This is another problem. They're passing children on to the next grade level when they shouldn't be passed on. There should be some type of aptitude testing going on for these children. And if the child cannot pass the proper aptitude test, then they should not be allowed to start school at all, point blank and period. If the parent wants to get mad and upset with the district, then they need to take it up with themselves, because they should properly prepare their children so they're not a distraction to the rest of the children that need to learn at an accurate level, um, and an accurate speed. There is no reason why someone should have to stop and teach someone else's child how to spell and write their name when they get into first grade, second grade, and kindergarten. This should be taught already. But parents have so much time for everything else except their own replica of their genetic material, except for something that came out of them. The most important thing in your life, the most important job you can have on the face of this planet, is reproducing and being a parent. And half the people in this world, in America, shall I say, probably over half can't even do that properly or correctly. Because if they did, they will understand the need of homeschooling. Homeschooling is not just taking on every grade level by yourself. You can reach out to tutors, but people don't want to invest into their children's future or their children's education because to them it's an inconvenience. But they have all the time in the world for YouTube to worry about who Tupac's murderer is. They got all the time for the nonsense. They got all the time for celebrity gossip, keeping up with everything else but the education of their child. Tell me how that makes sense. This country is backwards, you all. And I would strongly urge anybody that if you can get out of this country, get out of this country and explore. Because one thing I say about the Asian culture, they take education seriously. Over here in America, we are the worst when it comes to geography. I have literally had conversations with people, grown adults over the phone in my line of work, that did not know that Asia is different from Asians are different from Hispanics. Those are two entirely separate countries and two entirely separate ethnicities, and will get upset if you correct them. That is a disgrace. And it's a wonder that people even would take any type of American seriously at this point compared to the education level of other countries. This is something that's lacking, and this is something that is being bred into this society, is the lack of education, not to mention the lack of funding. Let's talk about it. The school system, if you will, this public free education that was brought forth by the Rockefellers. You all, someone sent me some information to my Instagram, and so I wish to share this information with you. This is why I'm a major advocate of homeschooling your children. All right, so let me see if I can share this information with you as it comes up. It's no need for it, you all. It's no need for it. All right. I'm passionate about it because it's irritating. All right, it's irritating. So let me go ahead and see if I can share my screen. Hold on one second, y'all. There are a couple of okay, here it is. Let me see if I can click on this and if it'll play. There are a couple of videos that came my way that I wanted to show you. It says classic learner. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Let me go ahead and share this. Present. Present. All right, share screen. All right, let's see if we can hear it.
Propaganda, Bernays explained how they leveraged $10,000 grants to get school district after district to adopt the Rockefeller curriculum, a curriculum that openly stated it did not want a nation of thinkers, it wanted a nation of workers. It was modeled after the Prussian education system. In the 1800s, Prussia had lost a war to Napoleon. Prussian soldiers disobeyed orders, turned, and ran away. The Prussian government wanted to make sure this would never happen again, so they brought in a team of psychologists to restructure the education system. They developed the 8-hour school day of compulsory schooling, 45-minute blocks, bells, and raising your hand to go to the bathroom. Prussia would, of course, go on to become Germany, and Rockefeller would leverage grants to have the education model adopted all over the world. This is why I started a homeschool company that teaches real history. Check out my private homeschool community. And Cubs to Bears, folks. How do you control the minds of a people? In 1903, John D. Rockefeller funded the creation of the General Education Board. He would eventually invest $180 million into the project, or over $4 billion adjusted for inflation. Rockefeller would go on to hire the father of propaganda, Edward Bernays. In his book Propaganda, Bernays explained how they leveraged $10,000 grants to get school district after district to adopt the Rockefeller curriculum, a curriculum that openly stated it did not want a nation of thinkers, it wanted a nation of workers. It was modeled after the Prussian education system. In the 1800s, Prussia had lost a war to Napoleon. Prussian soldiers disobeyed orders, turned, and ran away. The Prussian government wanted to make sure this would never happen again, so they brought in a team of psychologists to restructure the education system. They developed the 8-hour school day of compulsory schooling, 45-minute blocks, bells, and raising your hand to go to the bathroom. Prussia would, of course, go on to become Germany, and Rockefeller would leverage grants to have the education model adopted all over the world. This is why I started a homeschool company that teaches real history. Check out my private homeschool community. And Cubs to Bears, folks. How do you control the minds of a people? In 1903, John D.
All right. Okay. And you can clearly see this for yourself. You've heard it several times, what he just said. Basically, like I said, this whole, yes, Tinkerpoo, this whole homeschool thing was invented by John Rockefeller, and it had nothing to do with the education of your children. It had to do with the indoctrination of your children. I'm going to say it again. Homeschooling is the best way that you can go. And for those of you who want to say, oh, he's a Caucasian, I don't want him teaching my melanated children. Well, you know what I will say? At least he is doing something about what's going on out here, and you might actually want to invest into people that homeschool, because I bet you the people that are homeschooling are going to do a whole lot better in this world and in this life and on their tests and get way more far advanced than the children in the homeschool setting. Because once you have that one-on-one interaction and it's not 20 people in a classroom setting, you have better attention, you have more time that's being spent on you, and it's more specialized. And that's what I witnessed basically when I was in the classroom and I was spending time with the children, and I spent that time with the boy that couldn't even add properly. The 30 minutes to the hour that I spent just one-on-one with him made a major difference. So the teachers don't have time to do that because they are so stuck on trying to fit in a curriculum that's being forced upon them by the school district. And I don't even know what idiots write some of this rhetoric that is supposed to be taught to, quote unquote, taught to the children. So, since we're talking about it, let's get into the simple mindset of how they are indoctrinating the children. First of all, kindergartners have no business having to be at school from 8:40 in the morning until 4:40 p.m. and being picked up at almost 5 o'clock in the day. That means your child is spending basically 8 to 9, almost basically 10 hours away from home. with strangers in a prison setting. Because think about it, the schools are made like jails. The schools have cinder blocks. And let's not even get involved in what happens in the cafeteria. Y'all, I remember when I went to school, and the first thing they want to tell you to do as a child is to be quiet, sit still, don't move, be quiet, sit still, don't move. I mean, and I wasn't a bad overactive child. I think my parents got lucky with me, my sister and I, but there are children that can't sit still. There are children that are not going to be quiet because everyone has a different personality type, and maybe they don't have a type A or type B personality. They have the type of personality that they have. You cannot make all children act like robots. They're individuals. They're little young adults that they're raising. And just because they are younger than you and smaller than you does not mean that any type of authority figure should talk to them any type of way, should start getting irritated with them because they're simply being a child. That's just like having a cat and telling it not to meow. That's like having a dog and telling it to shut up because it barks. If that's the case, get rid of the pet because obviously you do not know how to be a pet owner. That's like you're telling something to go outside of its natural abilities, its natural way of living. A child is going to be a child all day long. You want them to walk in a single file line down the hallway. You want them to be quiet in the hallway, be quiet in the classroom, be quiet when they go to the cafeteria to eat their food, be quiet on the bus, be quiet everywhere they go, be quiet on the field trip. You want them to be controlled. You want them indoctrinated. You want them to behave like you want them to behave so that you can feel comfortable. But who's to say that a child coming out of toddlerhood should even be going to school, y'all? I don't agree with that. And there is no reason why they should be in school for 8 to 9 to 10 hours out of the day, because guess what? They're going to tune everything out. After the first couple of hours, I would give it no more than 4 hours. That child is going to tune out everything. You all know how it is as adults when you have to go to a meeting and they're just talking and talking. At some point, a 2 hour meeting, I'm zoned out. I have done it. We have had meetings with attorneys and I just zoned out. We've had training with attorneys, and at some point, I'm tired of listening to it. Okay. What do you think a child is going to do when this is being introduced to them? It's something new. They've never had to experience this. They're away from their family, they're away from their home, their comfort zone. And now this strange person of authority figure is telling them what to do. I don't like that. They're dictating to your child, and people willingly allow this. They and then don't let them send a bad report home. Oh, now you're going to get in trouble because you're not acting right for the teacher. You're not acting right in this strange environment, this strange setting full of authority figures. So you see how it subconsciously sets the premise that you are to be dictated by someone that does not look like you, that's meant to be your authority figure. So now when you get on a job, what do? You have someone that does not look like you, that's an authority figure. You better fall in line on that corporate plantation, because that's all it's doing is training your little toddlers, your little kindergartners, first and second graders to be on a corporate plantation. You got the cafeteria, just like the jailhouse. You got the school bus, just like the jail bus. You have the cement walls, just like the cement walls in the jail. You got the classrooms, that ain't nothing but like a jail cell. They can't go out of the classroom. They have recess, just like they have in jail. You're being spoken to, you're being whistled at because they have whistles out there, clipboards out there, walkie talkies, authority figures. Okay, it's the same thing. And this is the type of environment you're sending your basically toddlers to. That is, when you really think about it, it's terrifying to a child. Yes, Tinkerbell is terrifying. It's ridiculous. And people are sending their children away to this nonsense. and they think they're really doing something. Oh yeah, I send my child to school. My child goes to school, but you don't even want to take the time to try to develop or devise a schedule to home school your child because you don't want to be inconvenienced. You want a free daycare. You want free public schooling as a daycare center for your child, and you're happy with that. Sad but true. And this is most of society as a whole because nobody wants to try anything different. So now that we know why the school system was developed, is anybody going to do anything about it? Probably not. Probably not. Let's see what this video is about, you all. It says they put the truth in our face. Okay, let me share this screen. Yes, Tinkerbell is speaking out about it because she doesn't agree with it either, y'all. You hear the cat talking, they're spiritual creatures, and she know I'm telling the truth over here. Shout out to Brown Girls Are Beautiful. All right, let's go ahead and share the screen, y'all. There's another video that I wish to share with you. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe. Please feel free to donate to the Cash App. That's $BGAB Clothing. Let's see. Yes. All right. Present. Yes, sweetheart. Okay. Y'all. Share screen. Okay, here we go. All right. Here we go. She ate, so I don't know why she's doing all this.
Self only the servant of the all-seeing eye who controls everything in the world.
I was wrong. You do win.
Done. I win.
Cheryl, it's not a race.
That's what losers say.
What is that?
The truth. Every time a new baby is born, the Federal Reserve issues a secret birth certificate printed by a company called the American Bank. That way, the government can use people as currency to back the debt they have with the World Economic Forum, which owns the central banks of every nation on Earth. But the WEF is just a front for the Council on Foreign Relations, which masterminded the 9/11 attacks as a pretext to invade Iraq, take the oil, and install fast food chains to make people slow, fat, and easily abductable by the shape-shifting reptilian aliens it works with. Now, back in the 30s, FDR made a deal with these reptilians to exchange people for technology. That was the basis of the New Deal. But ever since, they've been slowly replacing all the world leaders to create a nuclear holocaust to make global warming real for their takeover. That's how they made up the Cold War, by sending Leica to space to bite Neil Armstrong while Kubrick was faking the moon landing. Now they're using satellite waves, contrails, and measles vaccines as mind control and fluoridating the water to keep people's gold fillings intact so they can be sent back to, you guessed it, the Federal Reserve, where all the gold and birth certificates are stored by the real puppet master, the world monarch, who is himself only the servant of the all-seeing eye who controls everything in the world.
I was wrong. You do win.
Done. I win.
Cheryl.
All right. So I just wanted that to play a couple of times so that you could hear it, because she speaks very fast in the video, but people need to hear it a few times before they actually catch on to what she's saying. If you want to rewind this video, you certainly can. But another thing is, whenever you give your child a social security number, whenever you give your child a social security number, a baby is born. And once you give that child that social security number, they're put into the system. This is why they become a ward of the state, and they can come take your child if they want to. CPS, all of this stuff. And then this is why they tell you that you will get in trouble if you do not enroll your child into the public school system. See? See, you got to be careful. When you don't know better, this is what happens. But when you know better, you have to do better. So be careful about these social security numbers that you're giving out to your children. A lot of our parents did not know better. So they basically signed, okay, our social security cards, which means they signed us over to the federal government. And this is what happened. Now they stake claim over us. This is why melanated people is very, very important that you claim your sovereignty. Okay. You are sovereign beings. You are not to be owned by the American government. And that is so important that you understand that. It is so important that people stop giving in to the government just because everybody else did it. I'm going to give my child a social security number because everybody else got one. It's not, that's not what's up. It's not okay. I can't get jiggy with this shit. Okay. This is you got to elevate. You got to start evolving once you start finding out the real true information. I'm getting the true information for the people. Okay. So, y'all, just do some research. Simple stuff, simple stuff. Yeah. There was something else that I wanted to touch on too, because we were at the museum earlier. And of course, they're feeding us the fictitious lies about the dinosaurs. You know how I feel about being lied to. I hate it, right? They talked about that in there. The dinosaurs are simply the reptilians, the reptoids, if you will, the lizard people that a lot of people don't want to talk about, the shapeshifters. Shout out to Queen Elizabeth and the Charles family. Check out Arizona Wilder. And if you don't want to do that, then I might pull the video up myself because she is talking about how Queen Elizabeth shapeshifts. If you don't believe me, check out the Twitter. They have scrubbed the internet heavily when it talks about Queen Elizabeth shapeshifting. Ironically, they said she died, I think, last year, the latter part of last year or earlier this year. But they had already announced she died, and then they went back and said she was still alive. Then they went back and said she died again. So just be very cautious about stuff like that, y'all. um, Let me see if I can find the video that I want to share with y'all. It's so much stuff that I really wanted to talk about today, but I just don't have the energy to get into it tonight. But this is something that was heavily pressing on my mind because it was immediate. So I felt like we needed to speak on it. David Icke, Conspiracy of the Lizard Illuminati. All right, let me share my screen with you all because if you all know Mr. Icke, I think he was actually Killed for speaking the truth, if I remember correctly. So let me share my screen. I'm going to show you some videos that I come to. But yes, here's David Icke, Conspiracy of the Lizard Illuminati, part 1 of 2. As you can clearly see, everyone, this has 8.5 million views, posted 11 years ago. And apparently, there are a lot of people that are very interested in this topic, or he wouldn't have gotten 8.5 million views. All right. Um, this one right here has 1.9 million views, posted 11 years ago. CBS News, members of the royal household are not all human. So, like I said, when they are telling us about these dinosaurs that never existed, these fossils that they made up, the paleontologists that claim they digged up the skulls of these dinosaurs and these bones and these fragments, how did they know what type of skin they had? How did they know that they did not have fur? How did they know this stuff? Why do they have the skin of a reptilian? Why do they look like lizards, lizard people, reptilian people? Because we know that there are lizard people that live beneath the earth's surface. Shout out to Area 51 and the Los Alamos base. And also, you can look this up with Phil Schneider, Phil, last name spelled Schneider. Phil Schneider served in the military. He was actually Killed. And you can find some tapes still on YouTube where he talks about this back in the 90s. You can also check out Behold a Pale Horse by William Cooper. We have studied and read that book on this channel. I did not finish it, but I would like to delve back into it. You can also check out, it's another guy that was talking about it as well. So there are lizard people, and it says alien reptiles manipulate human DNA. 1.9 million views 3 years ago. This is the type of stuff they don't want your children to know about. So when they go to the museum, they tell them that these are dinosaurs. This is why I have a very hard time accepting the school system, because outside of the Satan, Satan, and if you invert it, it's Santa dressed in red, representative of the devil, Saint Krampus, which was known to eat children and burn them and sacrifice them. This is where they get Christmas from. And they have done nothing but sit there and play mind trickery with your children. Y'all, Prancer's doing something. I might have to go check. I just heard a big thump a few minutes ago. I don't know what he's doing. He's probably getting into something he shouldn't be getting into. The lizard people conspiracy. Inside Job, Netflix, 1.1 million views. Y'all, they make a mockery, but they put the truth in front of our face. Right here, 9 years ago, shapeshifter at Matakana, January 2014. Now, as far as Arizona Wilder is concerned, there is an interview on here, and I'm trying to find that interview where she specifically talks about Queen Elizabeth and the royal, quote unquote, royal family, because I don't consider them royalty, shape-shifting. Yeah, it's on there. And if I can find it, I'll definitely share it with you. Y'all hold on for a second. I gotta go check on the kitty cat because he's doing something strange in there. And I don't know what oh, there he is. What were you doing, Prancer? It's ridiculous. Okay, so here he's coming in here now. Okay. Arizona Wilder. Did they take the freaking video down? Let me see if I can find the interview. Yeah. And she even talked about how they can mind control people through hypnotizing them. Princess Diana, there's a reason why she got out of that royal quote unquote family, okay? There's a reason why Meghan Markle and her husband separated from them. There's a lot going on behind the scenes, y'all. I can't find it right now, but if I do, I will come back on here and share it with you. Let's see what David Icke is talking about. Vice is one of the video channels that I used to watch some years ago. And let's see. I understand and wish to proceed. They may or may not let me show this. We'll see in just a second, y'all.
For as long as I can remember, I've had an interest in what some people condescendingly term conspiracy theory.
Yeah, of course.
You see, I was born November 22nd, the anniversary of John F. Kennedy's assassination. And every year on my birthday, there's been televised specials on practically every channel talking about magic bullets, grassy knolls, other shooters, as well as CIA, FBI, and mafia involvement. Even by the age of 10, this spoke to me.
All right, y'all, because I know YouTube acts so funny acting. You know what I'm going to have to do? I'm going to have to talk in between these segments because I don't want them to say that I'm COPY writing any material. And they heavily watch my channel, and they heavily mess with my channel because of the topics that I choose to talk about. I don't speak about celebrity gossip because they're not doing anything for us. They could care less about the public school system. They don't care if your children can't read or write. They want to keep them dumbed down with these stupid rap lyrics and these stupid songs. Have little girls twerking in the freaking, you know what I'm saying, classrooms. It's not cute. You know what I'm saying? They don't care. So let's continue to listen to what David Icke has to say, y'all.
And of course, there were UFOs, the Illuminati, occult Nazis, organized satanic networks, faked moon landings, and CIA mind control programs. Hell, even if this is all bullshit, it was fun to read about.
All right, let's skip past a little bit, y'all.
Ike's book, The Biggest Secret. In it, he writes about a global conspiracy, a hidden hand manipulating
All right, so we just saw the Rothschilds pictured there. We already know about the 13 families that are all related. Barack Obama is included. So for all of you out there that keep talking about, oh yeah, he was the first black president, get over it. He's still related to the elite. He's related to the Rothschilds, the Rockefeller. He's blood related to these people, the Bush family. All of these people are basically related to one another. Bill Gates and all of them, because how in the world do you have Bill Gates in charge of making decisions about your health? The World Health Organization. These people fund these corporations, and this is why we're being forced to take the injections that we don't want. You know, they try to force it on you. We don't have to. We can put up a fight, but a lot of people were being threatened to lose their jobs if they didn't do it. I can't talk too much about it because whenever I mention that, they start messing with the channel. So let's continue. Let's continue on.
humanity's destiny through the shadows, using those who seem to be in power. And the goal of these shadow people? Nothing less than an Orwellian global superstate with total control at the hands of an ancient reptilian shapeshifting race.
Now you tell me, if something is green and looks like a reptoid, looks like a reptile, you don't think that kind of resembles a lizard or resembles a major big dinosaur? Because Arizona Wilder, when I find that interview, I'm going to come back on and share it, stated that she witnessed, quote unquote, Queen Elizabeth, okay, shapeshift, and they get about, she said, 8 to 10 feet tall. Now, when I was at that museum, these quote unquote dinosaurs looked to be about 8 to 10 feet tall. They did. They did. So when you put it all together, this could be the reptilian people. Instead of them just telling the truth, they just want to lie to the entire public and tell them that they're dinosaurs.
So we took a ferry to the Isle of Wight to spend the day with David Icke, Britain's leading conspiracy evangelist and the one man
All right, let's get on with it, y'all. Tell us what happened. All right, so shape-shifting lizard fascists. I want to hear about this, y'all. And that's humanity saying, okay, let's see what they have to say here.
Enough. No more little me. We're not having it anymore.
In 1991, David Icke didn't believe in secret shape-shifting lizard fascists. He was a television celebrity. After arthritis had ended a promising career in football, he'd become a broadcaster. But that all ended in one remarkable appearance on the Terry Wogan Show.
David Icke.
In a turquoise tracksuit, he'd announced that he was the son of God, and the world would be ending that year. It didn't, and Icke seemed destined to disappear beneath a typhoon of public laughter.
So it's quite funny, really. You know, 2,000 years ago, had a guy called Jesus sat here and said these same things, you would still be laughing. It's really, really funny that we've not really moved on that much.
They're laughing at you. They're not laughing with you.
Fine.
I'm not even going to say anything about these Christians, about the Jesus character and all of this stuff. I'm just going to keep it moving.
But Icke wouldn't disappear. He began to write. And over a series of increasingly successful books, he began to outline his philosophy. Humankind was not in charge of its destiny. It was the unwitting prisoner of a race of shape-shifting lizards who occupied the roles in the highest echelons of society. From presidents to royal families, all trusted public figures were secretly part of a reptilian, Satanist pedophile group who had been on this planet for centuries.
Now, notice they said Satanists, right? Why do you think evil seems like it wins in this world? It keeps prevailing. Why do you think the good people have it the roughest, the toughest, the hardest? Why do you think that sometimes when you go to court or when you have a court case, things don't go in your favor? Y'all think about it. All this evil that goes on in the world keeps winning. The world is backwards and it gets worse and worse every year. I'm not trying to be negative, but this is the reality and everybody can feel it. There has been an energy shift going on for quite a long time, and it continues to get more and more negative, more and more dire.
People began to take notice of Icke, and today he spends most of his year preaching to amphitheaters full of fans. He's still making startling revelations, and recently he declared the moon to be a hollowed-out planetoid space station from which our minds are controlled. The lizard's very own Death Star. Don't mention the reptiles.
Speaking of the moon, we just came out of a full moon. And if anybody really pays attention, notice how big it looks. And notice that it seems to move, especially if you're driving on the road or the interstate. It will appear in one area, then all of a sudden it moves, and then you see it over here. Then on top of it, when have you ever seen the moon and the sun at the same time in the sky? It will be light, you will see the sun, and you will see the moon at the same time as the sun. That makes no logical sense to me, but that's been going on recently. And the stars, I pay attention to those. There's not as many as they seem, and they don't always seem to come out like they tried to tell us at the planetarium, right? So let's keep going.
Mentioned the reptiles, yeah. Because there were people, when this started to come in, people who were kind of into my stuff up to that point, which was kind of regular fight. Well, it's a bit strange. It was all the way the war was manipulated by a few people, but it was all kind of regular stuff. And then I came across with this stuff, and it was
Get it out of the way.
Don't mention the reptiles. They'll just laugh at you again. I said, I know, but I've seen enough and heard enough to believe that it's real.
Yes, you cannot mention this stuff because people are so far into their belief system of dinosaurs, even though they've never seen dinosaurs before. But this is what was put in front of them, so it has to be real. You think people won't play with your mind? If they lie to you about certain stuff, what makes you think they won't lie to you about other stuff? So this has to be true, but this is not true. You see, people don't even use their common sense and logic. No, they don't, Tinkerpoo.
Real, and so I say it. I don't care about the consequences for me. Are you frightened? No, I'm not. I don't care, because the consequences for the world and my children and my grandchildren and everyone else's of this of humans not intervening in this process that's going on now ever more quickly are that we are condemning our children and grandchildren, indeed ourselves. It's that close to a world that George Orwell so massively understated.
Can we have a look at where the work gets done?
All right. So he's definitely standing up for what he believes, which is far more than what I can say about a lot of people in society.
This is the German version, isn't it? Look at the size of it.
Yeah.
350,000 words. That, in one book, is the scale of information that has come into my life about these things. See, that is not a theory. That is evidence supporting a fact.
What was like the first book that really struck you? Because I know there was a couple for me, but you're familiar with Robert Anton Wilson? And I just liked it because it was funny.
All right, let's see. They said something about 9/11. We already know that was not true. There were no planes that flew into the buildings. Those buildings were detonated. And they basically demolished those buildings just like they do in Vegas when they take down the casinos. This is why the buildings fell down in such a perfect fashion, because they demolished them. It's called demolition work. And if you don't know about that, look it up, because this is what they do in major cities when they wish to replace the buildings, you all. Those buildings were actually built with dynamite underneath them when they were built in the 70s. I think they were built in like 1977 or something like that. This was already pre-planned. And if you think it wasn't, please check out The Simpsons, because they predicted this was going to happen. And who's in charge of writing The Simpsons? The CIA, everyone. This is how they predicted that Donald Trump was going to be the president, because again, The Simpsons are a part of the CIA. So there are a select few people that rule the world, yet people still don't want to believe it.
What you need to do to understand what's going on, connect the dots. See, there are dots like banking, government, all these different things, 9/11, which in and of themselves are interesting, and you can see that something's not right. But when you connect the dots between apparently unconnected people and situations and organizations, that's when the tapestry appears, and you go, whoa, so that's what's happening.
David had told us that his first moment of enlightenment had occurred when a voice entered his head while shopping with his son on the seafront.
This is the newsagent I told you about, where basically it all started. I was walking along here, and I walked in this door and turned to where Gareth was reading his Spin Train books, and this is where it happened, just the other side of this door, where I'm like, what's going on? Go and look at the books on the far side. What? And that's where it started, 1990, March 1990. And I never thought it was going to lead where it has, but
Okay. Now I want to know what happened to David Icke, you all. Because if my memory serves me correctly, I think something happened to him, ironically. So, when you speak the truth, you already know how it is. You become a target out here. So let me see if I can locate any information on his whereabouts at this time. If he's still alive, I don't think he is, though. Okay, and I'm pretty sure they're going to have a reason why he's not here if he's not here. Okay, I'm going to say, is David Icke still alive? Is David Icke still alive? This is David Von Icke is an English conspiracy theorist and a former footballer. He's written over 20 books. Let's see what else. Ex-serviceman turned traitor while consuming conspiracy theories. Berlin embassy spy denies existence of Russian handler. Embassy spy, what? Oh, so who controls the media? Of course, they have to tarnish and assassinate a person's character. David Icke, this was written November 4th, 2022. Conspiracy theorists banned from the Netherlands. Mr. Icke rose to prominence promoting fringe theories in the 1990s and found a new audience with the COVID pandemic. He falsely, I'm going to share the screen so you can all see this for yourselves, because this is the type of antics they like to do when they try to cover their tracks of their falsehoods, y'all. So here's some articles that I was pulling up about him. So I think he might be still alive. It might be a different guy that I was thinking about that ended up DEAD. But let me see here. Let's click on, this is the BBC. So here we go. So he's banned from the Netherlands, according to this article about a year ago, almost a year ago. And it says he rose to prominence, a new audience with the COVID pandemic. He falsely said the virus was spread by 5G mobile networks and that a Jewish group was involved. We remember that there was a thing going on about the 5G, and there's a reason why that they were trying, and they still are doing this. They try to disguise those 5G towers as if they're trees. They look almost like the shape of a Christmas tree. But people that have common sense know that that's not a tree. So why are y'all trying to disguise the towers as if they're trees? And there was a situation where they were saying that the 5G was interfering with people and causing the situation to get worse. Y'all, I'm not going to say that this is not possible. Because if people are saying, it's a reason why people say things and make these claims, but they are always going to negate anything that has any type of substance to it because they don't want you to believe it. You know who controls the media. We don't have to go there. It says Mr. Icke was due to address protesters critical of the government's C-19 response in Amsterdam on Sunday. News of Mr. Icke's 2-year travel ban was first reported on his own website, where he said the Dutch authorities sent him a letter saying his presence in the country could cause tensions between different groups and disrupt public order. That's all they care about, is pushing their narrative and agenda. But they don't care that their falsehoods that they teach children in school, that they teach people, are not causing disruption in our lives. They don't care about that. Mr. Icke says the ban extends to the EU's visa-free Schengen area, meaning he is also banned from 25 other countries. All right. And so that's what it says about him. Like I said, there's a reason why they're banning him. A lot of times when you're pushing truth to the people, they're not going to empower you. So like when people keep talking about, oh, who killed Tupac? That is nothing but a distraction, y'all. I can do a video on that, But you already know how I feel about these rappers, how I feel about that whole Nipsey Hussle situation. I feel like those two things go hand in hand. These are characters and they assassinated the character and it's over and done with. We can move on because why are we going to worry about somebody that never knew us? We never knew Tupac Shakur, aka Lassane Parrish, personally, where it really would impact our lives. But this is something they keep feeding and pushing to the media because they want to capture our attention and they want us to talk about it. And I refuse to talk about nonsense when we have much bigger fish to fry out here. We have much more important things going on, such as this messed up economy that's going on, how people are being underpaid on their jobs, how these children are being undereducated, devalued, and how parents are not parents, but they're just procreators and they're just making children and bringing them on the planet without no real formal education or training or instilling any values into them. We have much bigger things to talk about than the murder of a Tupac Shakur, which is a character that none of us knew personally. And there's insult to injury that they would even hi continue on playing out these antics and these narratives, and people are actually buying into it. But when it comes to something that really does impact us as a whole, nobody wants to talk about it because it's not entertaining enough. It's not feeding that adrenaline that you have going on inside of you. I don't know if she's hungry or not, but she already ate, y'all, so I don't know what this is about. My apologies for Tinkerbell. Okay, my apologies for Tinkerbell. Oh, y'all. So, yes, let me see if there's anything else that I wanted to talk about because I think I'm going to kind of cut it here. I wanted to be on for about an hour, then I'm going to jump off and I'll probably come back on tomorrow. I want to delve a little deeper into some things. Okay. If there's anything that you'd like to discuss, please feel free to comment. If you enjoyed the content, if you like the content, again, please like, share, subscribe. You can also donate via Cash App. That's $ BGAB clothing, you all, for all of you out there. All right. Now there's one more thing that I did want to touch on. So I'm going to share my screen one more time and then I'm going to get off here. And this was sent to me by a friend of mine. Thank you so much for sending these to me. I really appreciate when people share things with me to my IG so I can bring it to the public platform. The biggest scam on earth, y'all. So let's review this. What is the biggest scam on earth? Let's listen to it. It's your
job. Because think about it, you work for 40 years, 8 hours a day, and after 40 years, you are still broke. How is that not a scam? The biggest scam on planet Earth is a job. Because think about it, you work for 40 years, 8 hours a day, and after 40 years, you are still broke. How is that not a scam? The biggest scam on planet Earth.
All right. I just wanted you all to listen to that and hear it for yourselves a couple of times. So maybe that will sink in for some people. That is a scam. Just like this public school system is a scam, just like a whole lot of things they introduce to us is a scam, y'all. And once people get sick and tired of being scammed, maybe they'll finally do something about it. You all, this has been an episode of Brown Girls Are Beautiful. Yours truly. Um, I'm going to go ahead and sign on out. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for watching, Tickapoo. Yeah, as soon as I get off here, I'm going to feed this cat again because I don't know what's wrong. She might want to play. You want to play or you hungry? It's one or the other. I haven't spent a lot of time with her lately, so she's real needy. She's very vocal, as you can tell. But yeah, so this has been an episode of Brown Girls Are Beautiful. We want to send a special shout out to all the new subscribers. And also, I want to say shout out to the queens, the kings out there. Continue to walk in your divinity, you all. And, check me out on BGAB TV. That's my Instagram. You can also, I'm going to get my website back up and running again. I'm going to be working on adding some things there to that platform. Why are you looking at me like that? Ooh, she is giving me a look. Oh, are you mad? Oh, I think she's mad, y'all. Okay, I'm about to get off in a second, Tink. All right, y'all. We are signing out until next time. You all stay blessed. It's a mess, y'all. She's demanding. Yeah, everybody can hear you. She's still at it. Let's get out of here, Tink.